subs, maybe sub amps went down there. So there's a small amount of space available on stage near the snake. Otherwise, it can go near control. That worries me though, because it's easier to do it from the snake and not have to unplug things from the console. So
yeah,
that's a general rule.
Sharing it with it.
Okay, that's great. So as a general rule, we don't want to unplug or plug in from there. So anything we add, we're going to try to account for down near the snake. Okay, and that includes wireless.
Yeah, and on the board, our guy is talking about bringing in a bigger board and leaving it for everyone to use.
Okay.
And even asked, like, can we get rid of the Mackie and use ours instead?
I will need all of it, all that info on it. Okay, and so what I'll do is on the chatter page, we'll start one quick thing about it. Start it as a chatter thing so everyone knows what's going on. And it will be to replace the board. We don't want a second one in here.
Sure.
We got into that last year and it created a problem for us trying to do two separate things. So if that's going to be available, that's great. We'll bring it in on venue prep day as part of our load in. You guys bring it in and we'll set it up as of that day.
Yeah.
We're fine with that actually.
Okay.
It's fine. And it just has to be comparable to this so that we can put this one away and lock it away. That's fine.
He said what kind it was and it was Greek to me, so.
Okay.
He may have put it, but
I know you've got a question, so let's just.
I'm just going to run down these really quick.
Yeah.
If we want to run our own cables, we can. And how long is it to front of house?
Oh, for what?
I don't know. I'm just reading
Okay.
the question. Sorry.
What I just explained was
Yeah.
we're already going to have 3 stage left. We're going to have 3 stage right that are going to be available for your use. If you don't need them to be microphones, they can be
Okay,
whatever
the
you want.
Mackie mixer we just covered.
How many clear comms?
We have 4. We had one in the booth, one out here, 2 backstage.
I thought we had a fifth one because we had one in projection.
Oh, right, and one in projection right there. Let's say there's 5 stations, all wired.
All wired. And if we wanted to bring our own, what brand do you have?
I think it's ClearCom one. The actual is ClearCom.
Sorry, Greg, the boards, he was talking, it was a Yamaha M7.
An M7. Okay. We'll just and there's another reason I want to know the footprint, but that's fine. That'll definitely fit on that table right there. So that's great.
Okay. Next is just can we bring our own speakers for the mains and leave them set up?
No. Let's say no.
Okay.
We've got a system in here that's fine. It might look old, but it's actually a good system in here, and we have power issues, so no.
And then he was asking, do you have anything that needs fixing?
Tell him 10 a.m. on the 2nd of August to show up here and bring a soldering iron and some tools, and I'm sure we'll find
That would
something.
go right back with the how can we help the theater?
Okay,
Okay,
great.
that's all
So,
the questions. Thank you.
Was anything answered, or did you have another question?
If we need some extension cords or additional sound-related cables, do we have access to any of that here? Or do
We might have some, but because of the amount of stuff that's coming in, a lot of the stuff's already going to be used up. But we will designate some stuff to be communal extension cords, so that way we plug them into where we want them plugged in, and you just have to plug them into the end of that cord. So we'll provide for some of that. That's stuff that on venue prep day we'll figure out how much of it do we actually need, how much of it's actually available.
And just any words of wisdom from seeing performances in here with live bands and singers? Any?
Yeah,
spatial
the band,
thoughts?
it just, and we can comment on that in many ways, but having your band fully upstage rather than scooching them downstage is going to help, right? Amplifying singers in here is something that everyone's going to want to do when you have a band in here, obviously, because it is kind of a big cacophonous room. Our legs help a little bit, the back curtains help quite a bit as well to sort of bring the sound here and not keep it bouncing back. But I think the general rule is your band back there is fine as long as your singers are singing into microphones down here.
And are they visible back there?
Yeah. I mean, that area will be a lit area, and again, you're able to refocus some lights if you feel like you don't get full coverage on your band, somewhere to hit them there.
Do you think there'd be a striking aural difference if the band was back upstage?
Of the curtain?
No, upstage in front of the curtain, but center rather than in the corner?
No.
All right.
No. I think in this kind of room, that there's going to be enough up there. Yeah.
So the general grid, we like to all share, but will every venue have days depending on where things are going to be?
No, 90, like I said, 95% of it's already on paper on the site, and if you look at that, that's generally what we're going to have. But yes, anything that changes will be solidified on that day.
Just out of curiosity, is there some sort of like spotlight somewhere up there?
There's 9 areas that we'll cover. And it'll be the downstage, the midstage, and the upstage of the left and the center and the right. So you'll be able to isolate all those, so one of those will essentially be center. Something, yeah, in all ways, yeah.
We're talking, our show is talking about trying some floor mics. Are those something we're gonna have to be setting up every day and putting down, or?
Yeah, I mean, unless it's something that we feel, you know, if you put the floor mics down, they might create a problem for somebody else. We do have a stage edge that, you know, that everyone can feel free to break and all that stuff. So I think that's kind of the thing. If you feel like you have some mics, you want to offer them up, they might be of use to other people as well, especially those who might not be micing every actor
Yeah,
in every way. So that, offer that up as a chatter,
sure.
okay, tags that everyone can say, great. If it becomes a shared thing, then it's something we'll put in at venue prep. We want them here. Okay, offer them up. If you're offering them up, we'll sort of default to how you want to use them and see if everyone else can use them in that space. I mean, we kind of know what you're wanting to do with them, but whatever, just offer them up and let us know, and then we'll move from there.
Okay.
Okay? Yeah.
Do we provide lighting for the band, you know, for them to read the music?
If you want music stand lights or any of that stuff, yes. And we actually, we have some music stands in here,
There are music stands in here. They're not the best quality, but they
but they don't have lights.
They don't.
They don't have lights, so we should have, again, if there's a band thing going in, then the band pool should be one pool that everyone can share if you need them. So if you're bringing in lights and you need to rent them somewhere, or you need to buy them or whatever, share or whatever,
Okay.
you know, anybody who wants them, just, but again, we will, if your band's on stage, maybe you can light them without the music stand lights, if that's something you feel like you want to do. Okay, there was a question, yeah.
I just have a question about the paperwork from, that lot last night had the side lights, and the light had them, they ended up on the balcony?
They ended up on the balcony rail, correct, that's exactly right, yeah. There was a system that ended up there, yeah, that eyesight system, because nobody wanted it. It was a venue prep decision. Lighting designers in the room that day decided that they liked the coverage as opposed to the speaker end. So at that point, they just became, you know, and there were some things we found in here last year, and I'll give this as another caveat to venue prep and who should be here. When we walked in, we thought there was pipe that was everywhere, that was all fine, and we started finding that it wasn't the case, and we had to make adjustments based on what we could physically do in here. So that ended up on a venue prep day being a decision we couldn't have anticipated, and we had to make adjustments then.
So you anticipate that the side will go about the rail again this year?
We, you know, again, if you have a strong opinion on whether, again, if you want to talk light theory and beam angles, then we, if you feel like it's that necessary, then great, we chatter about it and we'll see, okay? It's got to, those kind of things are consensus, you know. And on that day, if we feel like, hey, everyone, oh my God, we just changed our mind on it, you know, sure.
Will we have an opportunity to keep walking around the space after the Q&A, or should we do that now?
Briefly,
Yeah, briefly. We'll have a little bit of time at the end. We have to be up.
yeah.
To be
Any more
honest,
audio questions, real quick? Great. And so, real quick projection. Who's using projection in here?